anticipates, and always thanks his mother. Let me tell you about guys like him. They ain't just playing stick.
Welcome to Remember 64, where this week we hit the diamond. Welcome to the show, or welcome back to the show, everyone. My name is David Petrangelo, and my slugging percentage is always 64 bits or higher.
Okay, that's okay, I guess.
That's pretty high. Like 64% is 64-ish percent, roughly.
0.640, that's a pretty good slugging. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
You know.
Yeah.
And fresh off the injured reserve list, a joke that made more sense before stage 2 happened. I'm Luigi. How's it going?
Welcome back to our, I guess, next episode that we finally get to sit down and do together.
It's level 13.
Yeah. It's level
this
13.
is my number, by the way. This is my favorite number.
So if you had a number when you were growing up in sports and things like that, and
yeah,
13 was the number?
When your birthday falls on Friday the 13th sometimes, that becomes a cool thing.
Hot damn, so, that's awesome.
Yeah,
there we go.
I was pretty into it.
All right, so we have a few sports references there. Of course, we are your hosts for this adventure as we collect, play, and discuss the classic Nintendo 64 console with you and other fellow nerdy guests. It's just us two this time, but we are sportsin'. We are sportsin' with Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr.
Popcorn.
Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Jr.'s Slugfest. So we're going to talk about both because I spent a little bit more time with Slugfest and you spent a little bit more time with the OG.
Indeed.
I guess you can call it.
I mean, I don't know, because it's technically the name of it is like Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr., but just called it, Ken 64 or Ken Griffey Jr. 64, and then the other one was just Slugfest. So, yeah, it was kind of weird.
They both came out like a year from each other too. You know, they really used these as like yearly iterations, even though they didn't have 98 and 99 slapped to them. So,
right.
There's some differences, but I think like when we spoke about the Wayne Gretzky hockey games in a previous level, they're not drastically different. So
exactly.
Why not pool them together and talk about them together? So,
in fact, with that game, someone had problems with the third one, which was a Olympic branded one,
yes,
because it was not different enough. So
right.
Yeah.
Right. There we go. And that's what a lot of people say about sports games nowadays, is that if you played an NHL game from, let's say, 2018 to 2022, minor differences, it's almost like people sort of talk about them now like they're roster updates. And, it's a little unfair to the developers, but
at least those are good. You have other sports games that are
definitely not.
That are flaming piles of garbage and are still flaming piles of garbage year after year after year. So hockey fans got it good, man.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree. We'll get to talking about what they did in these two games in a sec. I just want to really quickly make sure that we give a shout out to our two newest patrons for the episode at this time. Now, we try not to date our episodes, but at the moment we have Bacon Bob, which is a fantastic name. And
I love bacon.
Bacon and Bob, it's great. The alliteration, it's perfect. Genius. And Jimmy Roach as well. Jimmy Roach as well has joined our Patreon. So thank you very much for being.
Is it Jimmy the Roach or Jimmy Roach?
It says Jimmy Roach, but we could call him Jimmy the Roach.
Let's go with Jimmy Roach. Let's be respectful to Mr. Roach and call him Jimmy Roach. Thank you so much, by the way, Bacon Bob and Jimmy Roach.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
Who doesn't love bacon and roaches?
Yeah. Of course, patreon.com/remember64 show is where you can find us, support the show from there, get episodes early, and help us shape what games we might play next, sort of narrow down the list for us. And without further ado, though, sir, it's time to hit the history books. It's time to head back to May of 1998 when the first Ken Griffey Jr. 64 game came out.
I'm learning.
previews and commercials emerged about the new iMac computer with all the fancy colors.
Ooh, that's right.
Yeah, the orange, the purple, the green.
He was back at this point.
Yes.
The hippie was back.
The hippie was back with a vengeance.
Yeah, and turtlenecks. Well, he probably always had turtlenecks. I don't know.
I don't know when the turtleneck started. That was not part of my research. It was just strictly about the computers themselves. So, did you ever have one of these guys growing up?
No, my neighbor did. I got a Mac when I graduated high school.
Oh, okay.
So multiple years later, but a neighbor had one of these, and I messed around with it. I think my grandpa had a Macintosh growing up as well.
Yes. Yeah. I guess this would be Macintosh, the first iMac. So.
Yeah.
All right. So on May 14th, I'll ask before I mention this: are you a Seinfeld fan? Are you a Seinfeld watcher?
Later in life I was. My parents definitely were, and so they watched it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the time, for the most part, our generation might have been just a touch too young to watch while it was on, but
I mean, it was also like my parents' show, so I was just like, it might be funny, but I'm not gonna watch it.
On May 14th, it was the first of the 2-part episodes for the finale of Seinfeld. Right. And then, of course, on May 25th of 1998, we have the first Ken Griffey Jr. game on the N64 that was released.
Let me tell you something about heroes. They ain't like you and me. Look at Griffey. The way he taps the spikes and grows the tee, punches the glove and flips the lid.
This is Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr. with reality bat for infinite swings. It's only on N64, only on Nintendo Sports.
Without further ado, sir, once again, let's get into the history of the game. You have quite the breakdown this time around.
Yeah.
And we have a shared document of the things that we write down, but I kind of stayed away from this one. I wanted to edumacate myself real time. So what are we talking about here?
Okay. So this game is, I guess there's not a lot out there about the development of this game, most likely because it's a baseball game. They made a baseball game.
Sports games seem to kind of go that way. Yeah.
I mean, unless you're like, oh, we're like handcrafting Madden over here, and like there's all this like mythos around it, and Trip Hawkins and John Madden are like in a bus right now, hashing out the details of Madden. Like, no, these guys were primarily Angel Studios made video games at this point, but they got their start basically as an animation studio. Started up in like the mid 80s, mostly worked in commercials, music videos, the kind of stuff that like when you watch a Star Wars documentary and like, oh man, what's his face? The one of the, he's all over those DVDs from the prequels. I can't remember his name now, but like the lead animator guy was like, yeah, we're pulling these kids off of music videos and commercials. That's
Gotcha.
where the animators are. You always hear that from like film production.
Yeah.
And so that's what they were doing. They actually worked on The Lawnmower Man, which is a thing that it's this like big VR touchstone movie that I think is older than we're not old enough to get that. I've never seen it. It was a big deal to people older than us. For some reason, it was like the VR thing.
Yeah, it's sort of like a I want to say it's a thriller or a horror movie. I know of it because I do remember seeing the box, the VHS box at the movie rental store.
Oh yeah, I saw it a lot.
And Pinhead. What's Pinhead is
Hellraiser.
Yeah, I remember seeing those. For whatever reason, they were always sort of close by, and I was never watching. Obviously, at that time, never watching. So 1992 is when it came out. So definitely way too young to watch something like that. So
it's probably a great movie. Who knows? There's a sex scene in it in VR. They animated that. Sure. This is the kind of stuff they were doing. This is they got a chance to work with because they did this, they did like some Peter Gabriel music videos.
Ooh.
Like they had some clout. And so they were brought in to work with like the Silicon Graphics workstations, which the Silicon Graphics stuff like those are infamous. That's like Donkey Kong Country. Like people who got brought in for that, that became like the 64 was, built around these workstations, they were always called. And so that's how they got in with Nintendo. Like Genya Takeda, hardware wunderkind from Nintendo, was also interested in the technology. And so they kind of met there. Give me a minute. We're getting there. I'm going to blow your minds. So not limited to just working with Nintendo. They also compressed the ever-loving shit out of Resident Evil 2 and successfully managed to cram it onto an N64 cart. Their work, they also did work on a driving game for Windows PC, which caught the eye of Rockstar Games, which enlisted their help for Midnight Club and Smuggler's Run.
Oh, Midnight Club. I used to love those.
So during this, this is not long after, they've done work with Atari. They're making Ken Griffey Jr. in here. They had no experience with a sports game, so they just made what they thought was like a fun baseball game. And they made my favorite baseball game, just kind of like what would be a fun baseball game. Like, let's not be realistic. Let's just make a good baseball game.
Right.
And so, yeah, I don't think there's anything more to it than that. That's why there's no info really out there.
Simply, they just went for it. They had some ideas. They thought this could be a pretty good way to do a generally slower sport. Let's make it work this way. I think you're right, man. I think it's a good balance of arcade and sim, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, and it doesn't feel like, it goes a little bit faster than a baseball game, but it doesn't feel like wacky or like bombastic or over the top or in really any way. No, it feels like a baseball game. And
it's not Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey. It's not NFL Blitz. None of that kind of stuff. It doesn't go that far.
Sorry, that's me doing when you get checked, the announcer's like, woo, 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 sirens, all this crazy stuff. Dave Niehaus is out there, getting wasted in the booth, yelling stuff. Sure, ruining my perfect games. But other than that, no. It's pretty normal for a game. So I want to say that their work with Resident Evil 2 led to a collaboration with Capcom on an espionage game that got turned into a Western shooter called Red Dead Revolver.
Oh, what?
Which fell apart right around the time that the Hauser brothers were looking to acquire their favorite little studio. And that's how the studio that made the two N64 Ken Griffey Jr. games made Red Dead Redemption, the greatest game ever made, or one of the greatest games ever made. All right.
Interesting. Look at that. Ken Griffey Jr. on the N64 ties all the way to one of the best-selling, most popular, and beloved series of all time.
So, these guys know how to make a game. They're artists. They were. I mean, the foundation of the company was artists doing cool stuff, getting a chance to make video games, actually kind of pulling it off just by making some cool video games. And Red Dead's the culmination of that, I think, of really weird, artsy, not necessarily controlling the way you would expect a game like that to control, but this is the way they did it. And also the Hausers really just liked Angel, the founder of the company, a lot. And I think they just wanted to work with him forever. And after a couple of years, he was like, I'm retiring, bye. And they're like, oh, we wanted to hang out with you more. And,
oh, come on, buddy.
I'm out.
On.
So, but it's a weird it's a weird story.
It's interesting though. I mean, there's a lot going on there. I think it's a nice, like you sort of laid it out in a way that got into what the game is and why it became that way, which is exactly why you love it so much and exactly why I had a great time with it in the last couple of weeks, which we'll get into for sure. I do want to take this time though, before we dig into our time playing with it, and especially yours, because you have a much deeper history with this. I want to make sure we jump into Nintendo Power Time. Mr. Ken Griffey Jr. is on the cover, and this is May of 1998. So this is when this game came out. So they sort of did this. They had like a multiple page spread. They had all of the teams listed. They had where they were in the standings in 1997. They had their lineups from 1 to 9, and they had where their strengths and weaknesses are. And then they broke down every mode that this game, the first one, had available when you purchased the game. This was far more of a breakdown than we've seen so far since doing Nintendo Power Time on this show. It is like deep stuff. Like you can go through these pages. I think there is a total of 10 or 11 pages here, and it's all Ken Griffey Jr., all baseball, all the time. It's insane.
I am stunned. I am absolutely speechless. You're telling me that every single player, every single stat,
yeah, so it has their
Unbelievable to me.
names. It doesn't have their stat. Yeah, so it has their names, but it doesn't have their ratings, the players. But it has the team's record from 1997. It has where they finished, but it has, it has a little like mini picture of everyone's stadium from the game. Like they really went into detail. And then, you get to the end of the issue in the now playing section where they reviewed games. And I think it's fairly obvious, and I think it's sort of known at this point that Nintendo Power was very much like,
you could say
favorable to their stuff. Yeah, it was sort of a sales pitch for 100 pages. But, they have some of the comments from the writers or people from Nintendo Power. Overall rating of 8.4 out of 10. That's quite good, I would say.
Okay.
That's quite high.
They were giving a 10 scale at that point. Okay.
Yeah, it's all 10, and they get down to to 8.4. Not 8.5 to 8, or 9. It's right in the middle there, right? So they have Scott, who says it took 3 years to get here, but it's worth every hour we had to wait.
I know Scott.
Good old Scott.
I think I know that reviewer.
Mr. Paul says the best baseball game ever, bar none.
I mean, he's right.
So I wanted to leave Nintendo Power Time with that and throw it to you. I'm going to toss the baseball over to you because I know you agree with both of the things that were just
thanks
said there.
there.
No problem. Here you go. I'm just gonna we're gonna play catch a little bit, and I'm gonna toss it over to you. So
all right, kids, let me tell you why this is the greatest baseball game of all time. No, it is. It's super damn fun. I'm biased, I will admit. This is the 97 season, which the season that this was released during was the year that my Padres were tearing it up, and for once not like stumbling at any point, except for toward the end of the season. They failed to get to 100 games, but they were a really good team. And they went to the World Series. So I was like peak crazy about baseball. I was already a huge baseball fan. I'm living in the Midwest, but I'm still a huge Padres fan because that's where I grew up, and I got all my Tony Gwynn crap, and so
amazing.
This was the year to have the best baseball game ever come out and have my favorite team be in it. And then the next year for Slugfest as well, because, okay, so not everybody on the team is as good as they were in 98.
Right.
Greg Vaughn, I think the only people who hit more home runs than him that year, our left fielder, the only person who hit more home runs than him that year were Ken Griffey Jr., Sammy Sosa, and Mark McGwire, because that was the home run chase year.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, his stats aren't that great in this game. But, I know it's Greg Vaughn, so I was still like swinging for the fences with him. And yeah, stuff like that. It was a good year to have. It was two great seasons to have locked into a game I already think is way more fun than any other baseball game I've played since.
So with this game or these games, you played the heck out of them. What do you remember as like what you loved about this, and like did it sort of come back to you when you turned it back on in the last few weeks?
I think what it really is it's fun to play by yourself, and it is a fantastic game to play against other people. It like the pitching works. Pitches break the way they're supposed to, and so if you've got a slider, like, you know, okay, well, I know the slider's going to break like this, or you know, or whatever. And so I spent a lot of time with this game as a kid. I spent more time with it as an adult, with Slugfest in particular, where my friend and I would just. This is what we did. We played this game for a long time, where he always picked the Yankees. Because I let him pick the Yankees because he played. All right, that's all dumb. I'm just getting so many levels down. He played as the Yankees, and so we just had showdown after showdown after showdown.
Amazing.
I don't know how many if it kept track of what that would have been cool, but it doesn't. I don't know how many I played, but years of that.
Right.
And Slugfest. So there's this code that you can do in the first one.
Oh.
Where you can unlock Nintendo and Angel Studios teams, and their stats are all 10s, and yeah, like Team
That's
Nintendo's
awesome.
got Minoru Arakawa and Howard Lincoln and like Mike
What?
Fukuda and probably Gail Tilden and just all these old Nintendo Power, Nintendo of America names.
Oh, I did not know that.
And
That's amazing.
It's really weird. You have to like mash all the C buttons at the same time.
What?
And if you like, it's really easy to mess up. So I was pissed for years because those weren't in Slugfest because I couldn't do it. And turns out after about 2 years, 3 years, however long it took us to get through a 162 game season.
Oh, man.
Of just, you know, playing it off and on. It was like, you've unlocked those teams. Like, I told you they were in here somewhere.
Crazy.
So yeah, the second game you have to play an entire season to get them.
Ooh,
but they're
that's
still
a lot.
there.
That's a lot. As fun as a game
yeah.
is, that's a lot of games. That's tough.
It's a bit too much.
Yeah.
Like I said, it took me a few years, and I was playing. I sometimes play like 2 or 3 games a night for stretches.
Yeah, right. Well,
know?
and that's the thing
So-
too with games of this age too. I noticed because I'm playing a baseball game right now, which I mentioned on one of my Patreons from, I think it was in June maybe when I did it, because that's when I was a couple months into playing it. But it's called Super Mega Baseball, and it's the third one.
Oh
It's
yeah,
yeah. It's a fantastic game. It is so much fun.
those are all right. They're kind of like up, like, you know, in the same vein.
Yeah. They're a little bit simmy, but they're also very arcadey. There's no real players, no real teams.
Do you have a cursor that you use to hit
Yeah,
it, or can you?
It is very similar.
Okay.
It's a very similar control scheme to Ken Griffey Jr. games. Actually, it's actually
I played
not that far off.
the demo a lot.
Yeah. So anyway, so that for example, I played a decently length season, but every game is 7 innings. I just shortened it just a touch because nine kind of felt like, okay, I want to sink myself into a season, but 9 sometimes just drags on. And like games like this, I didn't play it, like I didn't look through a lot of the settings in Slugfest or anything, but I don't think you can change how long the game is. And sometimes the games felt a little
We get
long.
it. I win. We get it.
I win,
It's
or
over.
I lose.
Or could this be over now?
Yeah. Like I played a couple games at the beginning, and you know, it's me not being used to the game yet, the flow, the way the ball is pitched, the way you're supposed to bat, the timing, like all
Right.
that stuff. You kind of just gotta
Delay
get a feel for
from, you know. Well, I don't know on your emulator if there's going to be any delay on that thing.
So I played it on my little handheld RetroPie thing, and I think it's just the way that the game controlled, and because I've been playing so much of that Super Mega Baseball game that I was used to seeing and controlling a different game, even though the view is very similar, you know? So I was like striking out like crazy. I was like, I can't get the timing right.
Dude,
you know,
me too.
Like Vladdy Sr. had like 4 strikeouts in a game at one point. I'm like, I am just the worst at this. Why are we playing this? Can we play something else? Like, oh my God. And then I got the hang of it.
I was getting like 13, 14, 15 strikeouts.
It was brutal.
My first few games back. just whiffing at everything.
Yeah, as a Blue Jays fan, a lifelong Blue Jays fan, being based in Toronto, and the fact that Vladdy Jr. is currently like the biggest name on the team in the last decade. The fact that I was playing as his dad on a team that doesn't exist anymore, that also was in Canada at the time with the Montreal Expos, I was like, I want this guy to hit every ball. He's going to go 6 for 6 every game and just hit home runs all. And I just could not hit the ball the first couple games. I was so upset at myself and the game.
Oh, but he's the man, though.
He is. So yeah, I played as the Expos. It was kind of fun to sort of go back and
wait.
Yeah.
Why Expos?
Because the Jays are garbage in the 90s. That's
so
why.
Even worse than the Expos.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They were so bad that they took their team away.
The Jays in the late into the after they won the World Series.
Right.
The Jays didn't make the playoffs for 22 years.
92. No, that was 91, right?
They won it. They won 92 was the last time they won.
Okay.
And, it's the whole baseball thing where it's like they spent the most money, so they had a really high salary. They had players, they blew everybody out during the season. Anyways, that's baseball.
And then everybody leaves after.
And then everybody leaves the year after,
which
93.
is what happened in Slugfest. I'm missing a bunch of my players, especially they did expansion stuff too, and so some of them got taken to the expansion team, and I'm like, no, give me my guys back, please.
The previously named Devil Rays, when Tampa was a new team, is new in there, so they have some players that they took through the expansion, but I had to choose the Expos, one because of Vladdy Guerrero, and because yes, the Jays are that bad in the late 90s.
Okay.
Yes, they are that bad. They have been bad for almost my whole life. I barely remember them winning because in 92 I was too young to really appreciate it. And then they did well about 5 years ago, and then they sucked until last year. So it's been a roller coaster. It's been a roller coaster.
True. I feel you.
With the Padres, I can imagine.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'm right there with you.
So I found in this game that there's some differences with the hitters, I think, but I found a big difference with certain pitchers that had better stats. That's where I really felt that it made a difference. Like when someone was rated 8 or 9 with their speed or velocity, whatever they call it in the game, compared to someone who had a 4 or a 5, it was like, yeah, I understand that that's like a big number difference, but I was like, wow, this guy can all of a sudden throw 95 compared to 79. And like a 79 is basically a changeup at this point. I'm just like, what am I throwing at these guys? No wonder I'm losing.
Well, I mean, you want to change it up on them. That's what the changeup's for.
But if my fastball is going 79, I'm not getting anything done.
Yeah, no, that's not. Maybe you got the super fast that goes 85 and the fastball that goes 79.
I love how it's called super fast. I love that.
Yeah, I call it the hot heat.
Yes.
I was like, you got me with the hot heat.
It's the heater, just like from Sandlot. I don't know if you've watched Sandlot, but Sandlot is likely one of the best sports movies of all time. And
that's pretty good.
As long as show him the heater, he just throws up his one finger. Show him the heater. Here it comes. Oh, strike 3, you're out. Like it's the best.
Yeah. I think you have a lot of power as the pitcher because you need to. Because if you're playing someone who knows what they're doing, they can punish you for some garbage that you accidentally let out. So you've got to be. I was playing this. I was streaming it, and I noticed myself doing this thing. So with the pitcher's cursor will be this green plus sign that sort of flashes, and when you're tired, it flashes more. But the flashing's important because if you're actually playing against someone else, you can wait for that plus sign to go away.
Yes.
Move your pitch somewhere and start your pitch, and they won't see it until, control is released to them, and then they see the pitch coming in. And so I noticed myself doing that a lot because I'm just used to
doing that,
hiding my pitch from people because I want to.
Do you feel like that
them.
helped though? Do you think that helped even against the CPU too in the game?
I don't think that helps at all. No,
right?
Because there's a thing you can do in one of the only glitches I know about in the first one is when you want to check base, you hold Z and then the base you want the camera to like zoom over to and look at.
Right.
If you hold the base that you're looking at and let go of Z first and then bring the camera back, the strike zone and the pitcher's cursor are gone.
Really? Even the strike zone? Crazy.
Just disappeared. And if you're playing against a human being, you could be like, what the hell happened? I don't know what's going on. Never seen that before. Oh, well, it's 2 strikes. I guess you'll just have to pray. And, you can get them that way if you're a real dick.
Or if you're resourceful. Like, let's not be too negative here.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes you got to win.
Yeah.
But, so you can do that, but the computer will not be fooled by it. So it does not care if you hide the cursor. But yeah, it's being a good pitcher is a virtue in this game, and I don't throw a lot of strikeouts, but I'm definitely good at getting people to ground out.
I was not good at strikeouts either. Yeah, I could not get the strikeouts going. Like I love watching pitching. I love playing pitching in baseball games. It's always actually my favorite part. And
smart.
I couldn't quite get it. Couldn't quite get the strikeouts
They won't let you
going.
get away with stuff. You can fool them into certain things. Like you can, if you've got a pitcher who can really like just move the ball. Then you can get it to start way outside the zone, come flying in and tag the corner, and the batter will just be like, because it's an automatic animation for them to do that. But there are like certain situations where that computer character will turn to the ump and be like, "What the f- is your problem?" They will be mad.
It's so funny. That's it. That's the one thing I actually want to mention just in general. It's those types of animations, but just the animation in general. I really like the animation, like the way they throw the ball, the way that the guys slide to the base, like just the way that nearly all of the batters have their own stance. They're all holding it in a certain way. I don't know what everyone's stance was at that time, but for the most part, they're varied, and
there's like 5 or 6, maybe 7 different stances.
Yeah, and enough
all
variation.
of them cover vague style. So Jeffrey Bagwell would do this thing where he would stand at the plate and he would like there was a stool 1 foot behind him and only like a centimeter of his ass was allowed to sit on it. and the rest of his body was not allowed to be like anywhere near that stool. That was his stance. It was super weird. But so they give him this kind of squat stance that Tony Gwynn also gets, whereas he didn't nearly look that stupid, and was a much better hitter. Well, that goes without saying. It's Tony Gwynn. He's one of the greatest hitters who ever lived. And so, but yeah, they have the exact same model, but it's kind of a rough variation of that. The only person who gets their own super sick, fluid, mo-capped as all get out stance is the man himself, Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, I did not get a chance to play against the Mariners because I was in the other conference, so I did not meet Mr. Jr. As I played through this. So I think I played, I want to say I played 25 or 30 games. I played a decent amount. Yeah. And I played a lot against the Brewers. I played a lot against Pittsburgh. I played, because you're playing 3-4 game, mini series during the season against these teams. I'm like, oh, this guy, I got to nail this guy next time. And then he hits a home run. But, that's
dude. Yeah. And you've got, are there like 6 teams in that division?
That's a great question. I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
I don't know. I can't remember. Damn, I don't know. It gets messy, and NL Central gets messy, man.
Yeah, exactly, right. But it's great. I really appreciate how they like went for it with the animations, because like it's a ground ball and the shortstop or the third baseman or whoever picks up a ball, and then you immediately press the button to throw it to first or second base. They kind of do this like midair sidearm sort of jump kind of thing, which is very pretty realistic and something that you see actually happen, and not what I would have expected honestly from the game. I thought everything would be fairly standard. They'd have their feet planted. It would be, sort of the same throw animation. It would just vary depending on which base you threw to, but it changed. And on top of that, the camera angles change all the time, and it's amazing. I love it. It's so great. It's like that's my favorite part of this game, is how no matter what you do, there's a camera angle change every single time, every single play. It's so great.
And eventually you start to figure out like where the camera is going to go once it's hit.
Yeah,
so, like,
yeah.
So like if the other team hits on you and you see the ball, you only get to see it for like the briefest of moments, like where it goes. But you're like, okay, he hit that pretty hard and it went that way. So I'm going to guess it's left field and
roughly
not
there.
Like shortstop.
Yeah.
So yeah, like eventually you'll start to pick up on that. But yeah, with the animations, like it actually depends on where you're running, how fast, or not how fast, but like, are you like mid catching the ball? Did you dive? Do you have to stand up? If you're running directly away from it, it's really funny because they will do this turnaround dive and throw it back. But if you take half a second to plant yourself and turn back towards the base, you will throw it much faster.
Yeah, which is great. It's that is 100% realistic, and not something I would have expected. Like I know you love this game, man, but I did not expect that.
Like you can tell that they were animators.
Yeah. Yes.
Almost first and foremost. They're like, there's not really much we have to do to make this baseball game fun as far as like the baseball rules are concerned, but for controlling, animating how you control it, like let's make it somewhat realistic. It's kind of realistic in that way, where like you can't just do whatever you want to throw the ball. You have to kind of think about it a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Like my favorite part is a fly ball in the outfield, and you got your guy, or they have their guy right underneath the cursor. And and the camera is just behind their shoulder, like sort of at ass level, I guess, like at belt level, looking up the guy's back. And, you see his number, you see his name, and the ball just goes neatly into their glove. And I just, it's great because they have versions of that when you're actually watching baseball, but you're never going to get that exact angle when you watch it on TV. But it doesn't feel out of place either. Like it actually feels like it really works. And I think you're right. I think the whole the fact that these guys,
it kind of pans up when you catch it.
Yes, and
if the play is still active or something like that.
Yes, that does make a difference too. But all of that stuff I think comes into play, like you said. Like if this studio were the studio was animators, all of this stuff is just part of their DNA, is how they would normally work and what they thought of. And a lot of studios maybe wouldn't have thought of that. And I think it makes the game exceptionally better than what I expected and what I thought I would take away from it. I thought I'd take away, I love the hitting, I love the pitching, the throwing's kind of cool, but no, it's actually, for the most part, the presentation. That's what I actually enjoyed the most.
It all fits together. It's so seamless. Like I don't understand how baseball games get so complicated when it comes to like throwing, which base you want to throw, base running, how you want to do the base running. Like, there is so much garbage that goes into controlling different runners in different games, and this is just, it's intuitive. It's R to make everybody go, and then the individual base to make them run to that individual base on the C buttons, and then Z for all of them to go back, or individual base to go back, and it all just works. It all fits together. It doesn't feel. It all feels right. It just always, the game has always felt just perfect.
It makes
not
sense.
Perfect.
It really makes sense. No, it's
Yeah.
not perfect, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be for it to work, right? Like
the first one is not perfect.
Yeah.
Believe me. It's got problems.
Yeah, I mean, Slugfest is not perfect either. I mean, I didn't spend a lot of time playing around with things. I really just like started a season and I kind of just went for it. I played around with the lineup a little bit. I tried to make a couple trades, like pretty basic stuff, but I didn't really dig into it too. I just wanted to get a handle of the gameplay, and honestly, it was like I have a hard time putting down baseball games. Whether it's this one or whether it's the Super Mega Baseball or whether it's the show, which I had a few iterations of a few years ago. I think around 2015, 2017 is kind of when I had those games. Like, I'll play a game, whether it's a short one, a long one, whatever, and be like, especially if I lose, I got to get back in there.
Right.
I know I'm not as bad as what that score was, or as bad as, I know I was
getting greedy, stealing bases.
Yeah, I shouldn't have stole that base. I would have won, like things like that. And, it's nice that there's variation in this too. You're not constantly blowing teams out and they're not constantly blowing you out. Like, I found there was a couple games where I got lit up at the beginning. I get 7 runs against me in the first couple of innings, sort of thing. But then I would do that a couple. Yeah, I got it together, and like maybe I would lose, but maybe whatever. Either way, things sort of somewhat evened out. Maybe I just played better. Whatever it is, it varied a decent amount, and I don't know.
You eventually will run out of pitchers.
Yes,
You eventually will get down to a pitcher who isn't as good as your other starters, or has 0 stamina, and so he goes out early, and like there's always a game where you're gonna be like leaning on your bullpen for half the game.
And the only problem, the bullpen, that like it doesn't seem, at least on the Expos, it doesn't feel like anyone can go longer than an inning and a bit, maybe 2 innings.
Most
if
of
you're
them
lucky.
can't, especially if you're giving them a high if you're giving them a high pitch count.
I think that's almost all. That's the majority of what hits their stamina. It's not just the hits. It's not just the giving stuff up. But like if you toss a certain amount of pitches, they're just like they're on their knees and just like huffing and puffing, and it takes like 7 minutes for them to get ready to throw the next pitch. I'm just like, okay, let's go, speed it up.
And that's what. Oh no, because I'm fine. I'm like, take your time, because I know exactly when during this animation you're going to throw the ball, and I can cheat that by a half a second and jump the gun and steal third on you. So take your time, buddy. Don't worry about it.
Unless it's your pitcher.
Right. In which case, I don't think they would try and steal on me.
I don't think they do, actually. I had a couple steals against me, but it wasn't at those kinds of times.
Somebody got on, and they were like immediately out to 3, and I saw it, and I was like, that's okay.
All right.
You haven't done that yet, but what was it? I think it was like Barry Bonds or something.
Oh man,
I think he's like a 9, because he wasn't juiced at this point. He was still just like the best all-around player of all time. Like,
right.
Whatever.
He wasn't the big boy. Yeah.
Yeah, his stats are like he is stacked in these games, and he's not juicing. So like, I don't know. I'm just like, Barry, we all loved you. I don't know why you went and did that.
Why?
I feel bad. I just feel bad for you. I feel bad that you felt like you had to go juice, buddy. You were already like, you play for the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah.
I should hate you because I am a Padres fan. So I should like want you to shove a boot up your ass. But you were Barry Bonds. Like, how could I hate you? Like, even as a kid, I'm just like, when I saw, well, I guess you were on the Pirates at that point, but I was like, when I saw Barry Bonds in the Rookie of the Year or whatever, the kid where he messes his arm up movie.
Rookie of the Year. Yep.
Yeah. When I saw him in that, I was like, hell yeah, Barry Bonds. I love Barry Bonds. Why did you do that, Barry?
Why did any of these guys do that? And that's the era of this game, right? It's the juiced era, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's right there. But I don't know. I think overall, I like the sort of feel of, it's a little bit simmy, it's a little bit realistic, but it's definitely arcadey.
It's its own thing.
It really is. It does feel like its own game. It really does.
I think they made 2 of them, and then they're like, look, we don't really want to be the people that make sports games, so we're gonna go do like other stuff, and they did, and they just made something that they made a baseball game that made sense. Yeah, like it all fits together. It all kind of works.
They stopped while they were on top, which a lot of people can't. A lot of people can't say, like Barry Bonds.
Yeah, Barry. What's wrong with you?
The hell, Barry? Why can't you just be Angel Studios?
Why, Barry? Why? Yeah, why can't you be Angel Studios? Hey, I meant to ask you, how's Dave Niehaus doing? You got to spend 25 to 30 games with Dave Niehaus. How's
good.
My boy Dave?
Pretty good. I actually, again, about the presentation, it's another part of why this game is good. You mentioned that you love the part of these games is all of this. I don't know that the Griffey comments, I think, were what threw me off.
Where he pops in.
He pops in and just it felt like, oh, who is that? What? Who is that? What is happening? What? Wait, what? Oh, it's a double play. Or what a dive.
And then Dave shows up and he's like, wow.
Yeah.
So yeah,
his stuff I enjoyed. Yeah, absolutely.
It was always the like Dave comments are fine, but when Ken speaks, it's like, oh, Ken thought that was a nice play. And then, like, you would just rub it in the other person's face. You'd be like, oh, did you hear what Ken Griffey Jr. just said about my double play? Like, shut up, dude. I don't care. And he's like, oh, yeah, Ken knows true talent when he sees it, kind of thing. So, like, you could say thanks to Dave, but Ken was the real the real proof that you were a baseball player.
Yeah, it was the cherry on top for sure. Like if you made a good play and he was on your side, you knew you did something right. I liked it. I thought I liked the Dave stuff. I think that part was fine. Again, the whole presentation part is what I'm taking away from this game for sure.
Did you get a double my oh my?
After you said to look out for it, I did not, but I wouldn't be surprised if I got one before that and I just wasn't looking for it.
But you heard the my oh my's though, right?
I did hear yes, I did hear the oh my's.
He does that all the time.
Yeah.
There are, I guess that's his like trademark thing where he would just say my oh my. And there is for the listener, there is a chance that Dave will say something that begins or ends with a my oh my, like as part of something he said, like my oh my, that ball had a vapor trail on it. And then there is a random chance that after that he might say my oh my to like punctuate it. And like the double my oh my, like they are very rare and they are very special. I love you.
Yeah. All right. Ken Griffey Jr., or I guess Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Jr.'s Slugfest, 2 really good N64 sports games. Not just baseball games, but sports games. So if anyone hasn't played them, as we've said with other games that we've enjoyed, seek them out. I actually think it's really worth it. Sports games usually don't go too expensive if you have the cartridge itself. So if that's what you do and you collect some games or cartridges, either one of these is worth it for sure.
Play Slugfest.
Okay. Okay.
I will say Slugfest, better game. You can find some ridiculous stats in the original game. Stats are a little bit more realistic in Slugfest, but so the only real reason to get into the first one is if you want to have like wildly unfair players sometimes. But Slugfest is probably just like it's a tighter game. They got to spend more time just making it, clean it. They got to spend a year cleaning up the first game. Basically.
Yeah, they refined
so,
it. Sure.
Yeah. There's not really much different about the gameplay. It's just a better game.
Yep,
so,
just tighter.
Yeah.
Just next
Play
year
Slugfest.
After. Makes sense. All right, Slugfest is the way to go. Okay, so before we wrap the show up, sir, I teased during the Pokemon Snap episode. If anyone has listened to level 12 or 12 stage 2, that I have an update that I finished Mission Impossible, which was a previous episode and level that we did. So,
are you even allowed to tell us what happened?
Am I allowed to tell you?
Are you allowed to? I don't know. Is this top secret?
I'm going to make the rules and break them. That's really how this is going to work. So when we played that game, we were both pleasantly surprised. I think for the most part, as far as like how it felt, it wasn't definitely not a perfect game. Speaking of not perfect games, it's not. But I think it was kind of cool, the things that we could do in it, and I got far enough in it that I figured, you know what, I'm gonna keep going and I'm gonna try to complete this game. So I went back a few weeks later and played the last 2 stages. So I was actually very close to the end. And yeah, so I made it pretty close. So I think if you went from start to finish without any difficulty, it would take you several hours. But I went back and played the last couple stages, and they're fine. But I think the better stuff is the stuff that we played, I would say.
Okay.
So I think we got the better stuff. Not all of it is perfect. Like when we were talking about jumping over the electric squares in that one of corridor. Like that wasn't great. But there's a couple like cool ideas as you go on in the game, and you've kind of got the gist of what the game is when you get to this point, when you get to the last couple stages. And
so, are the last couple stages like also these big, huge, overarching missions? Like the
one of them is one of them is the last one. It's broken down into much smaller ones, but you do go back to, I can't remember the location now, but like the snow area that you do at the beginning, you go back to that again, and you're in a boat.
Who knows?
Something. Yeah, you're in a boat and you're shooting a base.
Just naming off risk spaces. But you're in a what? You're in a boat. Wait, what?
Yeah, so you get into a boat and you're basically on like a turret and you're shooting things on land at one point. So that's the new thing that you don't do before. So you're doing like a turret mini game is kind of what it is. Kind of fun, but again, after a couple minutes, you're like, okay, I got the gist of this. Let's.
We got the action level. All right,
I got it. And then you get out and you sort of maneuver your way around the larger open snow area, and you go through a couple buildings.
So it's like another snow area.
It's another snow area, very similar to what you run into at the beginning, and then it just kind of ends. And you kind of you blow up the base, and it says you blow up the base, and your love interest gives you a little smooch that isn't really a smooch because their heads don't actually touch, and then it says the end, and that's pretty much it. Now, there is one thing that I missed that I ended up finding after I completed the game. After the credits, there is an end credit scene to this game.
Okay,
like MCU style end credit scene. So you go back to the hotel level where you're dressed up as the waiter, or whatever event level, that one, which was like the second or third stage or something. And all the people that are at the party are all wearing regular t-shirts and jeans and, just casual clothes. And they're all the people that created this game. And you go up to them and you say, "Who are you?" They tell you their name and they tell you what position they are in the company. And then they have a fun little quip at the end. So one of them...
That's cool.
It's such a cool idea. So one of them is, I wrote a couple down, is, "My name is Erwin Kurgel. What do you do? I'm the assistant to the producer. Have you read the last bug report? Benoit will have some new bugs to fix." And then you go on and you talk to the next guy. And everyone is in like an Infogram's white t-shirt or black t-shirt, and they're just standing around the hallway, and you're just talking to them, asking what they do.
I wonder if this
funny.
is... I wonder if it's both the team from Ocean that started the game and the team that finished it. I would hope. I would
hope that.
Super cool.
Yeah, so
I like that a lot.
It's such a cool idea.
This game is cool.
It's so great. Like the fact that they did this, and it looks like, everyone looks different. I didn't take a good look at everyone's face in the game itself, and I don't know what the developers look like. But each one of these people that you go up to look different. It almost seems like they face map themselves on these models. And
all right,
honestly, man, Mission Impossible has jumped so far up my list. Even
I'm
especially
so impressed with that game.
Yeah, so impressed. By it,
yeah.
So. That is my my Ethan Hunt Mission Impossible update. Is again, work through the clunkiness of it if you can, and play this game because I think that it is a hidden gem.
I'll be damned, man.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I second that. Check it out. It's not that long.
No, it's really not.
Yeah.
It's very interesting and very ambitious. So walk around and talk to the developers after you beat the game, or you can find it on YouTube too, which is where I ended up finding
smoke
this part.
bombs and vents and play hopscotch on electrified panels. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes
Get in
17
there.
bullets to the face, but step on one red square that has an electrical shock to it and lose half your health.
Slam it.
So Mission Impossible update. Needed to make sure I threw it in there if anyone was wondering. Probably no one, but hey, Mission Impossible. Great game. Hidden gem. Check it out.
All right. Well, hey, everybody. I just want to remind you that patreon.com/remember64show is where you can get episodes early. You can vote on what we should play next and hear what we've been playing outside of the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, there's a few gems here and there. Yeah, 'tis true. 'Tis true.
Indeed.
You can always email us as well. Remember64show@gmail.com. And you can find our videos, photos, shenanigans, and all that on the social medias at Remember64Show, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and where the cool kids sit at the cool kids table on TikTok. We actually just go and sit at the TikTok table when all the cool kids are gone, but we still try and do a couple things here and there. Either way.
Well, I mean, lunch is over at that point.
Lunch is over. We had a spare, so we just took our time.
We're cleaning. Yeah, we're actually the janitors, and we clean the table, and then we sit down because we're tired.
We're so tired.
I mean, I think you shared, you can go somewhere on there. There's got to be a spot where you shared how I, in stunned realization, realized I pitched a perfect game while I was playing Ken Griffey Jr.
Yes.
So that happened twice.
So that happened twice. The fact that it happened twice is, especially everything we were just talking about with the pitching. That's amazing.
Yeah,
man. It's amazing.
I think the game. There's no difficulty on season in the first one, where there was a difficulty on season in Slugfest, and so I think my Slugfest, because I would play against harder difficulties than that. I think just by virtue of having played a lot of that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what difficulty it was, but it seemed pretty easy. So I don't know if I'm that impressed by myself anymore, but I don't know.
You know what, man? It doesn't matter what difficulty was. It's impressive based on the fact that I spent hours playing this game the last few weeks. It's a thumbs up, pat on the back, kudos type thing. It's still pretty impressive.
I was telling someone else that it was hilarious to me because the first one I got because I had a pitcher who wasn't as good and his pitches weren't moving, and I just kept throwing split fingers just one after another down the middle, trying to get them to break in different ways. Like, I don't care who hits these. I just want to see how they move. You know, how far I can get them to move. Yeah, that guy ended up throwing a perfect game. So, yeah.
Hey, do what you got to do to get the W, man. That's what they say, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
What else do they say?
They say, stay pixelated, my friends.